Guys, we've got a top 100 list from ESPN to react to. It says college football's top 100 players for 2022. I'm going to react to the entire list, give my thoughts, what I like, what I don't like, and this will be a great preview and a great primer for some of the players you're going to want to look out for in the 2022 college football season. So let's get it going. Will Anderson, number one. I completely agree. Guys, Will Anderson, 17 and a half sacks last year, 34 tackles for loss. I think he's a dark horse Heisman contender, although his Heisman odds are getting, significantly bumped up. He was plus 4,000 a few months ago. Now he's plus 2,000. It's so rare for a defensive player to be like fourth or fifth in Heisman odds in the preseason. Will Anderson is a generational defensive talent, and Alabama has another five-star pass rusher, Dallas Turner, that is going to be opposite Will Anderson. It's going to be very tough to deal with that Alabama pass rush. So I do agree. Last year they had him ranked 10th. I'm guessing that's before the season started. They do have Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud at number 2. I can't disagree with this. He won the Heisman last year. I totally get it. And then they have C.J. at number 3. Not surprising. Last year he was unranked to start. I would say I disagree with that. I mean, I understand he hadn't made a start yet, but any Ohio State quarterback that's a starting QB should probably be a top 100 player in college football. JSN is number 4. So guys, here's the thing. Everyone expects it to be Ohio State versus Alabama in the national championship. This is why. The first two players, Alabama. The next two players, Ohio State. The top 4 players are a combination of Ohio State and Alabama. JSN with the 1,600 receiving yards. We're expecting possibly 1,800, maybe even 2,000 from him this year without Garrett Wilson and Olave. It's going to be crazy for JSN. Bijan Robinson at number 5. I can't hate on that. I do think Trevion Henderson is slightly better than Bijan, but Bijan Robinson is a beast. Former 5-star. Really kind of hampered by a bad offense, but now with Quinn Ewers, Xavier Worthy, Bijan Robinson is definitely an elite player. So this is what I disagree with. Jalen Carter, I understand you're projecting here, but there's no way I can put Jalen Carter at number 6 just based on potential. Maybe I would say like 15 or 20th. This is a former 5-star who ESPN expects to just be the next kind of superstar for Georgia, and I totally understand it. Big defensive tackle, junior year, but I can't put him at number 6. Trevion Henderson is number 7. That's a great ranking for him. Nearly 1,300 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns as a true freshman. He is going to be a superstar. Brock Bowers, unbelievable tight end. Absolutely unbelievable. We saw what he did in the Michigan game last year. He is an absolute mismatch in terms of, someone trying to cover him. People may say number 8 overall for a tight end is aggressive. No, he is a beast. I agree. That's a good pick by ESPN. Jordan Addison at number 9. He won the Biletnikoff Award last year for Nation's Best Receiver. 17 touchdowns, with Kenny Pickett. And then he has the whole situation where he transfers due to some sort of NIL thing, some money he got from USC. We're guessing. I mean, there's really no other reason to transfer. Caleb Williams at number 10. He had a really good true freshman season, kind of finished off the year bad, but still, for a true freshman quarterback, what he did was impressive. I agree. He's going to be a beast. Keyshawn Butte, there's no way I would have Keyshawn Butte at number 11. I know he had a really good start to the 2021 season. I know he's a 5-star. I know he's a beast. I can't put him at number 11. Like maybe 30th, I would say, for Butte. He's a beast. Can he stay healthy? I didn't realize he had 9 touchdowns. How many games did he play? He got a lot of touchdowns in like 7 games. Deuce Vaughn, the little engine that could. Deuce Vaughn, 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns. Kind of the prototypical good college running back. So good for Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State. Brian Brazier, who this is another projection pick. He only played 4 games last year. They had him ranked number 11th overall. So this is the former number 1 overall player from the 2020 2020 class, I believe, either 2019 or 2020, the composite number 1 overall player. So they're expecting big things, obviously. I mean, he was injured last year, 4 games. He did only have 1.5 sacks, but he is a really good player. And he is a defensive tackle. I thought he was an edge rusher. I don't know. Maybe he's a combo. Ringo, the cornerback. So this kid was an absurd recruit. I'm sure many people remember if you watched the national championship. He had the pick 6. Last year he was not ranked. He should be a shutdown corner. I agree. Sean Tucker, another similar to Deuce Vaughn. Smaller school, Syracuse, but a really, really elite running back, 1,500 rushing yards. I don't know if I would have him at number 15, though, personally. Michael Mayer, so this is going to be a big issue for Ohio State defending this kid. Another ultra-elite tight end, former 5-star prospect. He is projected to be like a top 15 draft pick in 2023. Noah Sewell, really interesting linebacker, another former 5-star. Had a pretty decent year last year, and they're expecting him to continue to. That's why I really like Oregon, because they have a few defensive players that were 5-star linebackers that I expect to really step up, and they have a very favorable schedule. See, I'm just not buying Miles Murphy personally. He is another 5-star from Clemson, but I didn't see the production last year personally that warrants this, and he's being mocked in first rounds, I think mainly due to the fact that he was a 5-star. Devin Larry, the quarterback, I would say that's a little bit high. He did have 35 passing touchdowns. I didn't even realize that. But this is really why NC State is getting the hype they're getting due to him. We're going to start rolling through these a little bit faster. So Gibbs at number 20. This is all based on projection. If you guys don't know this kid's story, he went to Georgia Tech. He was actually like a top 50 recruit. Goes to Georgia Tech, transfers to Alabama because they need running back help. And, I mean, I'm a little bit lower on him than 20th. That's a really high ranking for a kid with only 700 rushing yards, but it's a projection based on how good he was as a recruit. Sam Hartman, that's a bit high, especially with the surgery he has. He has a non-football related issue and he will miss the early part of the season. So I don't know if I would even rank him right now because we don't know how long he's going to miss. Patterson, the center, has never allowed a sack. Well, because he's a center. I mean, he's not going up against pass rushers, so I don't know if you can rank a center 22nd. Jordan Battle, yeah, he's a really good player. He was actually committed to Ohio State, and then I believe during the whole Urban Meyer transfer to Ryan Day, he decommits and goes to Alabama. Wow, so they've got Dallas Turner at 24, and yeah, Dallas Turner and Will Anderson. My God, man, that's going to be so tough. Tyler Van Dyke, I love Tyler Van Dyke. He had 25 touchdowns. He didn't start every game for Miami. I'm expecting possibly 40-plus touchdowns. Miami finally has an unbelievable quarterback, Josh Downs. Thank you for showing Josh Downs respect. What a great year he had last year. It'll be interesting with a new QB, but Josh Downs is a great receiver. He's a fringe first-rounder. Will Rogers, there's no way. He had a bunch of yards because they threw a ton in the air raid offense. So, and it says it's hard to find a more underrated quarterback. He just pumped up his numbers because he threw 5,000 passes. You know, I make the joke that this kid's going to have to get Tommy John surgery because he's thrown so many passes. But I disagree with this. I would not put Will Rogers inside the top 50. Mo Ibrahim, who, these are his 2020 stats. So the first game that Ohio State, Michigan, or the Ohio State-Minnesota Thursday night game, he had the season-ending injury. He's back as a senior. I think he's gotten like 10 straight games with 100 rushing yards dating back to 2020, so he is a beast, and we should see big things from him. A.T. Perry, very underrated, but he's going to be without Sam Hartman. Andre Carter II from Army. This kid is being mocked inside of round 1. In many mock drafts, 2021 sacks, 15.5, or 2021 stats, 15.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. Really good. Foskey, another guy Ohio State's going to have to worry about. He's a really lengthy pass rusher. Wow, 11 sacks and 6 forced fumbles. So he could be a first-round pick. KJ Jefferson, kind of a Cam Newton clone. Also similar to Malik Cunningham, really good runner. So he's 32. Will Levis, he's getting some first-round love for Kentucky, the quarterback. He's a senior now. Braylon Allen, superstar, true sophomore, almost 1,300 rushing yards. Yeah, in that Wisconsin offense where they run the ball a ton, he's going to be a beast. Grayson McCall, he had some crazy efficiency numbers. He has 71% of his passes, 53 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions in the past 2 years for Grayson McCall. He's really fun to watch because he's so efficient. For Coastal Carolina, they obviously have a very easy schedule, but it's still fun to watch. Paris Johnson Jr., so let's hope, right? This is a projection. Paris Johnson, the number 1 overall offensive tackle in his recruiting class. This is the first time he's playing offensive tackle. He was a guard last year. Now he's the left tackle. Brandon Joseph, I think, is overrated, personally, from Northwestern. He actually had a really underwhelming 2021. I think he had like some crazy interception in the 2020 Big Ten Championship game against Ohio State or something. I don't know if that was him or someone else, but he got some hype, and now he's on Notre Dame. I don't think the kid's really that good. We'll see what he does. Trenton Simpson, so this is mainly just the fact that he's a former 5-star, and Clemson is supposed to have a great defense. We'll see, but Simpson is being mocked inside the first round. Bumper Pool. So this kid actually was a really decent recruit, and he is their lead linebacker. Nolan Smith, the former number 1 overall recruit from, I believe, 2018. Really didn't do a ton last year, 3.5 sacks, so he is returning as a senior. This is a projection-based pick. Chris Rodriguez Jr., the running back. I'm just going to try and roll through these. Tank Bigsby, he's going to basically be all of Auburn's offense. This guy reminds me of Arden Key for LSU. Yeah, so he's like a twitchy pass rusher / linebacker. Very similar build to Arden Key, in my opinion. Stenson Bennett. Yeah, I'm not buying Stenson Bennett at all. Eli Ricks, he's the transfer now from LSU to Alabama, so kind of a weird transfer there. Saransky, the offensive tackle. This kid was actually like near a 5-star. So he's a really good player. Don't be fooled that he went to Northwestern. He is a really talented player. Malik Cunningham, extremely fun quarterback. He was ranked 65th. Now he's 47th. And Cameron Rising, wow. So my main concern with Rising is his lack of mobility. He seems to be a statue mostly in the pocket, so we will see. I don't know if that's going to hurt Utah. They're a top 10 team. Hayden Hooker, he broke out last year in that Tennessee offense. We'll see if he can build on it. Will McDonald IV, who's a defensive lineman of Iowa State. Kind of an under-the-radar player there. I like that. Xavier Worthy, he's underrated. I would have him inside the top 30. Riley Moss, Iowa has a great defense. Where's Jack Campbell? Wow, I'm shocked they have Jack Campbell. Okay, there's no way. They've got Xavier Thomas at 53 simply due to his recruiting ranking. This guy should not be inside the top 100 at this point. The Henry Tuituo, the linebacker from Alabama, he was actually kind of a letdown last year, Alabama fans were saying. He was a big-time recruit, went to Tennessee, transferred in the portal to Alabama. Will Shipley, 5-star kind of Christian McCaffrey type running back. Travis Dye, I would not have Travis Dye that ranked this high. I know he had a good season last year. Wow, he had a really good season. I didn't realize that. Colin Oliver. Yes, Oklahoma State does have good defensive pass rushers returning. They do. I saw that. Devin Archen, running back for Texas A&M. So I guess they're projecting him to be the new lead back in A&M. Cam Smith, I've heard about him. He's being mocked in the first round. He's a cornerback for South Carolina. Tillman, the wide receiver. I did not realize this dude, without Velus Jones Jr., they're expecting him to really break out. He had 12 touchdowns last year. I did not realize that. Jaden Reed, the receiver for Michigan State, he's going to be their lead receiver this year. Christopher Smith, a solid safety for Georgia. Travis Davis, big defensive tackle for Clemson. Marvin Mims is a top 30 player. Marvin Mims is a playmaker, ladies and gentlemen. He averaged 22 yards per reception, and he's got Dylan Gabriel now. Yeah, Marvin Mims is going to be great. Antonio Johnson seems like a solid safety for Texas A&M. We're just going to try and roll through some of these guys. Zach Charbonnet is someone I think is another top 40 player. To me, he's like a Jonathan Taylor clone, maybe a little bit worse, but I love Zach Charbonnet, and I love this UCLA team. Jarrett is a former 5-star. I believe he was injured for a little bit of last year because he only had 800 yards, but yeah, he's really talented. Peyton Thorne, no, he's not a top 100 player. Dylan Gabriel is better than Peyton Thorne, folks. What are we doing here? Oh my goodness. So I guess they're saying because Gabriel, and then Jack Campbell needs more respect than this. This is one of the best linebackers in college football. He's a senior leader, typical Iowa, so I would have him inside the top 50. Tony Grimes. He's a guy that actually reclassified and is really young for his age because he was a 5-star, and now he reclassified to an earlier class. So we will see how he does. We've got this center from Minnesota. I've never heard of him. 1 pressure allowed in 289 pass blocks. So shout out to him. The Fresno State QB, I believe this is a transfer. No, he's not a transfer. Never mind. Joey Porter Jr. is someone I love. I think he's going to be possibly the number 1 cornerback taken in the 2023 draft. Offensive guard. Hutchinson, a receiver for Iowa State. It's going to be tough to put up big numbers in that offense. I feel bad for him. There's Rattler at 78, so we'll see. I mean, it was horrible. He was number 1 overall last year. I've never seen someone in Lincoln Riley's offense fall that far. Wow. Blank Corum, he's kind of a change of pace back. I don't know. He didn't even have 1,000 yards. Obviously, they had Hassan Haskins, but now they have Donovan Edwards. So Donovan Edwards might be their lead back. Bretton Cox Jr., the former 5-star. I can't hate on it. We'll see. A guard from USC, a linebacker from NC State. This kid is getting some buzz in the first round of drafts. I thought he was a defensive tackle. He's a pass rusher? I don't know. I thought he was a defensive tackle. Thomas, the running back transfer from Cincinnati, 21 rushing touchdowns last year. Gilbert, oh my God. So this is actually the highest rated tight end recruit in recruiting history, and he's dealt with off-the-field problems. He went to LSU, everyone thought he was going to go to Georgia as a recruit. He ends up going to LSU. Then he transfers back to Georgia, and we will see what he does. DJ Turner, who's a senior at Michigan. We'll see if he's their next big corner. There's Zach Evans, who's now with Ole Miss. That'll be interesting. How about Zach Harrison getting a shout out? Only 3 sacks in 2021. Boy, it'd be great to see Zach really break out this year. O'Connell, yeah, he's decent. I don't mind that. Looks like an outside linebacker from Auburn. Spencer Sanders, who's back as a senior. He was decent, but nothing special. 20 touchdowns last year. A linebacker from Wisconsin, Anthony Richardson. That's just major speculation. We really don't know. A linebacker from Cincinnati. This is like Cincinnati's only returning starter. Honestly. Oh, yeah. Wait, where's Brendan Armstrong? Oh, my God. Guys, Brendan Armstrong's a top 50 player, and this Wicks kid, what did he average? 21 yards per catch. Kid's ridiculous. They're going to have a great offense. Oh, this kid. This kid was committed to Michigan and then flipped to Alabama, if I remember that correctly, in recruiting. He's an offensive guard. I don't know who these players are. Zay Flowers. So Zay Flowers, I forgot who it was, but Zay Flowers said another team offered him an NIL deal if he transferred there in the offseason. Zay Flowers said that. I don't know who it was, though. A safety for Clemson. That kid is young. Yeah, I remember that kid being in recruiting. He's a sophomore. And then how about Mario Williams, the former 5-star from Oklahoma, transfers, joins Caleb Williams at USC. Guys, those are just the top 100. I think the biggest disrespect, Jack Campbell should be a top 50 player. You should see somebody like JTT, Jack Sawyer. Those guys need to be at least inside the top 100. If we're projecting forward, if you're going to rank Jalen Carter like number 6 overall and you're not going to rank JTT, you're not going to rank Jack Sawyer, that's a little bit. How about Denzel Burke? Oh my goodness, folks. Come on. I'm not trying to be a homer here, but Denzel Burke has 12 pass defense, one of the best, true freshman cornerback seasons Ohio State's had in forever, and he is not on this list. And then also Brennan Armstrong. I mean, the disrespect is just crazy there. And then they have someone like Grayson McCall ranked inside the top 50, but Brennan Armstrong is not a top 100 player. I'm not understanding that, folks. But this is just an overwrite on the top 100, and I wanted to go over it because it's a fun thing to do before the season starts. And guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.